At 75, Chris Norman finally speaks up about Suzi Quatro, and the revelation sheds light on a decades-long musical partnership, personal friendship, and the untold stories behind one of rock's most iconic duos. Chris Norman, best known as the lead singer of the legendary band Smokey, and Suzi Quatro, the trailblazing female rocker who broke barriers in a male-dominated industry, shared both stages and studio time during the peak of their careers in the 1970s and 1980s. Fans have long admired their energy, chemistry, and the unforgettable hits that defined a generation, but little was ever publicly known about the dynamics between them behind the scenes. Now, Norman has opened up, reflecting with honesty, humor, and a touch of nostalgia about the complexities of working alongside someone as fierce, talented, and driven as Suzi Quatro. He recalls the creative sparks, the competitive tensions, and the mutual respect that defined their collaboration, emphasizing that while the partnership was incredibly rewarding, it was also full of challenges that were never visible to fans. For decades, he kept these reflections private, respecting both their professional legacies and the personal boundaries they maintained, but now, looking back on a life devoted to music, Norman feels ready to share his perspective, acknowledging both the highs and the moments that tested their relationship. His revelations include anecdotes about their early tours, recording sessions, and the pressures of the rock and roll lifestyle, showing that even successful musicians faced conflicts, disagreements, and the struggle to balance friendship with professional ambitions. Norman's candor also highlights the admiration he has always had for Quatro, praising her pioneering spirit, her fearlessness in an industry dominated by men, and the dedication she brought to her craft, which challenged and inspired him throughout their time together. Fans are struck not just by the details, but by the vulnerability and sincerity in Norman's storytelling. He doesn't aim to scandalize or dramatize, but to reflect on decades of shared experience, growth, and mutual influence. His decision to speak now, at 75, underscores a desire to honor the history, the music, and the human side of a legendary collaboration, showing that time and perspective can bring clarity and understanding that weren't possible in the heat of youth or the rush of fame. Ultimately, Chris Norman's reflections remind fans that behind every chart-topping hit and memorable performance lies a web of emotions, challenges, and personal dynamics, and that relationships in the music world are as complex and meaningful as the songs themselves. At 75, Norman's words bring closure, insight, and a renewed appreciation for Suzi Quatro, not only as a rock icon but as a collaborator, a trailblazer, and someone who shaped his career in ways that fans are only now beginning to understand fully.